Okay, this is a study guide for the Comparing and Scaling Unit Review. I'm going to go through as much of this as I can in 15 minutes. Keep in mind that I only have 15 minutes to record, so some of the things I might ask you to do on your own, or I might skip around a little bit. So, finding a unit rate, some key things to remember here. Okay, the word that follows per goes in the denominator. That is the most important thing to remember. Okay, whenever you're setting up a ratio, you want to identify this per in the question. That'll help you set up your ratio. So, number 1 says Link bought 40 pounds of beef for $120. How much did he pay per pound? Okay, you'll notice here that the word that follows per is the pound. If we set up a ratio, we know that pound is going to be in our denominator, and the amount of money will be in our numerator. In the question, we have $120, so we can put that in our numerator, and then we have 40 pounds, which we know will go into our denominator. Okay, dollars over pounds, 120 divided by 40. Okay, we can simplify these fractions. Divide the top and bottom by 10. That's going to simplify to 12 over 4. 12 divided by 4 is just going to give us 3. Alright, so we have to ask ourselves, what does this 3 actually mean? Well, it means that he paid $3 per pound. It's important to write out that and get this in word form so it makes sense in our problem. Okay, we looked at number 2. We just spent 50 hours making a set of ceramic tiles. Her client paid $800. How much did Rita make per hour? If we looked at this, we found per. The word after that per is hour, so we know that hour will go in our denominator. The other thing we're comparing here is the money again. So, if we look back in our problem, we see that the dollar amount in this case is going to be $800. So that would go in our numerator. And then the hours was 50. That would go down to 50. Alright, if we simplify this, let's divide top and bottom by 10 again. Okay, 800 divided by 10 gives us 80. 50 divided by 10 is going to give us 5. We simplify this even further. 80 divided by 5 is just going to give us 16. We make 16 what? Well, it's $16 per hour. Okay? Again, per tile. For number 3, per tile. So we know that tile will go in the denominator. We know the other thing that we're comparing is the dollar amount. So for that $800, they made 160 tiles. How much was she paid per tile? Well, let's simplify again. Divide both sides by 10. 10 is a good start. You see zeros. That's going to go down to 80. 16. 80 divided by 16 should be 0. 80 divided by 16 would be 5. She was paid $5 per tile. Okay. If at any point you need to slow this down, feel free to press the pause button and copy down anything that you need to. Okay, let's move on. This next section is focused on finding the percent of a number, and it gives us a little hint. Okay, when we're reading the problem, the number next to is going to go in our numerator here, of down in our denominator, our percent over 100. And then we'll be able to solve by using cross multiply. Let's work through this number 1 to get kind of an idea of this. There are 35 people on the committee. To elect a new chairperson, 60% of the member must vote for the same person. What is 60% of 35? So what we're asking for the is, what is. So let's put that is up here. The of is going to be 35, a given. The percent we have here is 60%. We don't even have to write the percentage symbol here. And the 100 always stays the same. We're always going to use 100. Now, let's use our cross multiply and divide. Some of you might be able to find the scale factor. What I'm going to do is cross multiply and divide. Essentially what we're doing is we're figuring out what is the 60% of the 35. So the first thing we do is multiply these. 60 times 35. When I do 60 times 35, I get 2100. And then I'm going to divide by the other number. I'm going to divide by 100. 2100 divided by 100 is 21. When we look back into our answer, okay, it asks, what is 60% of 35? Okay, well, it's 21. Let's set up the second one. It says the sales tax in Mount Clement is 14%. What is 14% of $45? Okay, we have our basic setup here. Is of equals percent over 100. We're trying to find, once again, the is. What is 14% of 45? Okay. We know that we're trying to figure out the 14%. 100 always stays the same. The only thing we're left with is 45. Okay. Let's cross multiply and divide again. I'm going to multiply first 45 times 14. When I multiply 45 times 14, I get 630. And then I divide by what's left. I divide by 100. 630 divided by 100 is going to give me 6.3. My answer there. Okay. What you should be doing now is, now that we've done a few of these, try 3 on your own. Try to pause the video and do number 3 on your own. As you pause it, you know that we're trying to find the is again. Okay. We set up our ratio. We can go ahead and fill in the 100. That's always going to stay the same. If it gives you percent, you know you're going to fill that in here. The of is going to go in the denominator there, and we're going to figure out what goes in this spot. Let's cross multiply and divide again. Multiply 30 times 15, give me 450. I'm going to divide by what's left, 100, and I'm going to get 4.5. Okay. Now, finding what percent of one number is another, we're going to use the same setup here. This same exact thing. Okay? We just need to look for vocabulary. Okay? This question is, it says Randall borrowed $9,000 to buy a new car. So far he's paid off $1,800 of his loan. What percent of the loan is paid off? Well, let's look at it this way. Let's set up our ratio first. We know the $100 is going to be down here. Okay? We know that we're trying to find what percent. I'm going to put an X here to indicate that that's what we're solving for. Okay, if he borrowed $9,000, we know that would go in the denominator. Okay, because that is that is the largest amount. So far he's paid $1,800 of this 9,000. The of is going down. Excuse me, the of is going down here in the denominator. Okay? This can be confusing because if you look here, it says the $1,800 of his loan. Okay? However, of his loan was actually the 9,000. So the of is actually referring to the 9,000 here. We can cross multiply and divide. Try to multiply these two. To get. And then divide by what's left, 9,000. To get x equals 20%. Keep in mind we are trying to find a percent here, so we have to indicate that our answer is a percent. Okay? This is a common situation. There are 80 questions on a social studies test. Rebecca got 48 questions right. What percent did she get right? Just think about if you've ever seen a test before. She essentially got a 48 out of 80. You're trying to find the percent over 100. You can use this for even if you're doing a test and you're trying to figure out your grade. We're going to multiply these. $4,800. We're going to divide by 80. We're going to find out that she got a 60% on the test. Okay. I'm going to kind of work through this fast. Okay. 520 will go in the numerator. 4,000 will go in our denominator. Trying to find x over 100. Okay. Cross multiply and divide. I'll let you figure that out. The last type of problems here is find the total when the percent is given. Okay. In a recent survey, 5,240 people said they would like to change careers. That is 35% of all the people questioned. How many people were questioned? Well, we're given some hints here. First, let's set up what we know. We know the 100 is always going to be there. We know what the percentage is. That's 35. The real question here is where do we put this 5,240? Okay. Let's read it again. In a recent survey, 5,240 people said they would like to change careers. That is 35% of all the people questioned. So we know that is only 35%. We know that's only 35%. Right? We know that a larger number of people were actually questioned. So we're going to put that in the numerator. We're going to put an x in the denominator. We're going to cross multiply here and divide. I'll let you figure out the math. Looking through 1, 2, and 3 are very similar to this. Okay, we're not going to have time to go through adding and subtracting a percent, but what I would do is I would refer you back to the lesson activities that you worked on in class to get an idea of this. Okay, that was the Comparing the Stallion Unit Review. Hopefully that helped.